During the most recent Nintendo Direct, Square Enix announced Final Fantasy Resonance, the first ever Final Fantasy game made in the 2D HD style. But that's not the only thing about this game that is very important. Hey everyone, Kingdom Kid here to talk about why Final Fantasy Resonance is a good thing and how it could lead to some other important things later down the line. If you guys aren't aware, Final Fantasy Resonance is actually a somewhat souped up version, enhanced version, more stylized version of the mobile game Final Fantasy Brave Exvius. I believe that's how it's pronounced. Exvius was a mobile game that released in Japan in 2015 and worldwide in 2016. The servers shut down outside of Japan in 2024, and then they shut down in Japan in 2025. So it shut down fairly recently. So this is a single player, new style of a game that Square Enix had on a mobile device, and now they're bringing it to consoles in a different format. Now, I've heard this is actually kind of like a part 1 of like a part 4 kind of series of how the whole story unfolded. I don't know what they're going to do with that in the future, if they're going to be like future DLCs or maybe future installments of the game. Kind of depends on how much this is, but that's not what this video is about. If you guys remember, back at the end of 2025, Square Enix also released another game that is somewhat similar to what's happening with Final Fantasy Resonance. They released Octopath Traveler 0, a game where the story is basically the story of the mobile game Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent. It has some story elements of it, and obviously it tweaks some stuff here and there, but for the majority of it, the main story of Octopath Champions of the Continent is basically put into Octopath Traveler 0 with, again, some minor tweaks here and there. Obviously, unlike with Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent is actually still up and running. However, you really get the main focus and the main story of that still in Octopath Traveler 0, which is a good thing. There's also another game that's coming out that was also a mobile game that's now coming out for consoles into the future here as well, which is pretty good. The reason why I bring this up is that Square Enix has a couple other mobile games that no longer have services happening right now. That I'm talking about, of course, the Nier mobile game, and the big one, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross and Dark Road, and how this could help bridge the gap between the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Melody of Memories into Kingdom Hearts 4, which may be coming out maybe late next year or early 2028. How this could work is they can do something with the Union Cross story and all the important characters that we saw in the latest Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer that also dropped during the Nintendo Direct, that could help, bridge the gap and let people who aren't familiar with the mobile games that are very important to the series to kind of like worm their way into the eye of all the players again. Now, obviously, there are compilations of all the cutscenes from both Dark Road and from Union Cross as well, but that's not really the same thing. In order for this to kind of work, I think Square Enix should do with Union Cross, Dark Road, and the unreleased, canceled, Missing Link is to combine all three of those into some kind of a game. I don't know how they could really make it work. Maybe they can make it work as like some kind of a collection in a way, where very similar to like, the 1.5 and the 2.5 and the 2.8 collections, where it's like, oh, hey, here's like 3 games and a movie. They probably might make whatever they had with Missing Link could fit probably more so well as a movie. But then again, all 3 of these could also work as a movie. So this could also released as like, say, a movie that they could put in Kingdom Hearts 4. Or, I like this idea better, combine all 3 of them, rather have, Union Cross as like a standalone game, maybe Dark Road also as a standalone game, even though Dark Road is not as long as Union Cross was, but Dark Road still has some important thing, because there are some characters in Dark Road that we saw in, or at least we think we saw in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. It's that one character with the mask over his mouth that looks very similar to someone from Dark Road. Those characters, as well as some of the characters that we see that people think is Siegfried, is a character that we saw at the end of Union Cross and a little bit in Dark Road 2, I believe, but he was also going to be a main focus in Missing Link. These characters, and even Starletia, of course, Starletia was first introduced in Union Cross. So to learn about these characters and actually learn about them, I feel like Square Enix should follow suit as to what they've done with Octopath Traveler 0 and now Final Fantasy Resonance, and make a collection or some kind of a game that will release well before Kingdom Hearts 4, and that is some collection, again, whether it has Union Cross as a full game. Obviously it'd be different than how it worked in the mobile game. I don't know how they would do it. They could maybe have the models look somewhat similar to how they look in Kingdom Hearts 4 and the Union Cross movie that released alongside 2.8, or I don't think it would really work this way. They could maybe try to do an HD 2D style as well for that, but I don't think it would work with Kingdom Hearts. They could maybe try to make them look similar to, like, you know, the little chibi versions of how it looked in Union Cross and in Dark Road, or maybe they can somewhat make it look like how it was going to look in Missing Link, which is, you know, a little bit different as well. Either way, I think this is something Square Enix should definitely do, especially leading up to the release of Kingdom Hearts 4. They need to have this available for people to, you know, get familiarized with all these new characters that were introduced in the mobile game that people, even back when these games were still playable, weren't really paying too much attention to. There are some people that obviously did play it, like myself and many others. I mean, obviously the name showed up in Kingdom Hearts 3, for God's sakes, during the closing parts of the game. But it's also very important that people need to know about these characters before we get into Kingdom Hearts 4, because it's like, why are these characters important? Maybe it also explains why they're here. If Quadrant's some kind of an afterlife, that would explain it. If they include it as like a movie beforehand for Kingdom Hearts 4, that wouldn't be so bad, but I feel like how they did that with, you know, in Kingdom Hearts 3, they kind of like had some short films that kind of summarized everything up to that point as well. I feel like it wouldn't work that well. I mean, yes, people may see it, people may not see it. It almost kind of depends on how people are. So I feel like it'd be much better if this was something that was brought up in a standalone game that releases sometime in 2027, like I said, well before Kingdom Hearts 4 comes out. It kind of all depends on when they want to release Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know if they have maybe internally they may have like a release date or maybe a release year. They might have a window, be like, oh, we could release, like, we're trying to aim from this as the earliest and this as the latest right now. And then they have places in between. But I hope that Square Enix is also working on this kind of a thing where, you know, they could have Union Cross, Dark Road, and maybe some of the stuff that was going to be in Missing Link as well, mix it all together and release some kind of massive is not the right word, but release some kind of a collection beforehand. You could call it, I don't know, Kingdom Hearts Union, Dark Union Link or something. The missing Union Road, or the missing Union Crossroads, something along those lines. I don't know, but this is something that I think Square Enix definitely needs to do, and it would be great for them to do this with the Nier game as well, because that Nier game is basically Nier 3, but unlike, I've never played the Nier mobile game. I know some people did, others did not, and I would love to play it, but unfortunately can't really play it anymore. So here's hoping that Square Enix is either thinking about doing this in some way, shape, or form to, like, because they need to do this with Kingdom Hearts 4. Kingdom Hearts 4, it'd be like, oh yeah, you know, it's going to start the new saga, but technically the new saga has kind of already begun with the bridge that is Union Cross, Dark Road, and what was going to be Missing Link that got canceled last year in 2025. So here's hoping that they do something like that. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in, kind of talk about this in a way, because I think this is a good thing that they are doing with, not only did they do it with Champions of the Continent for Octopath Traveler, even though that game hasn't shut down its servers yet, but, you know, it's great that they're doing this for Final Fantasy Resonance, that was Brave X Virus, I hope it's something they do with the Kingdom Hearts mobile games. I hope it's something they do with the Nier games as well. I think it would all work out very well, especially with Kingdom Hearts 4 being a new game that needs to have these characters and some, has to have the connection to show. It also was the introduction of the Lost Masters, which this is going to be called the Lost Masters arc, so it'd be great to, this shows, Aved, Ava, all the masters who I can't think of off the top of my head, but it'd be great for that to be included as well in some way, shape, or form. Yes, of course, we have the Union Cross movie from 2.8, but again, that was a very small picture of what the whole Union Cross game was. I don't know. I pray it's something that Square Enix and Tetsuya Nomura are thinking of to do. So we can only pray and hope that it is something that maybe they already have in the back of their minds. Like, yeah, we are working on this, but we're not gonna say anything about it until it's out. Maybe they'll announce something about it during the Game Awards. Who knows? That'd be kind of crazy if they did. We'll see. Because obviously Final Fantasy Resonance would already be out, and they probably don't want to talk about like, oh, we're already, even though Resonance is being worked on Team Asano, the guys who fucking perfectized the HD 2D art style and everything. So again, I'm hoping they do this for not only the Kingdom Hearts mobile games, but also for the Nier game as well. So, but again, that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think about it, and are you picking up Final Fantasy Resonance when that releases in October 22nd of this year? I am 100% picking that up, and that will be a playthrough because it looks beautiful, and I cannot wait to play it. It's alright. Alright, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time.